Hey, are we spending too much time on gym selfies? Are we not spending enough time getting fit? Has gym become a sex club? And hey, what's a macro? Hey, mornings in the lab. All right, there we go, guys. Good morning. It's the Morning Loop. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, Marty, and producer Kristina Flynn. What's going on today, nation? Hey, so today, Mornings in the Lab, we have a show coming up today, and it is an explicit show. So I welcome you, and I invite you, and I encourage you to take those fun little children of yours and have them put the earphones on, or turn the volume down, or just get them out of the fucking room. And hey, listen, if you're an athlete, I invite you to turn up the volume and let us help you build your business. And if you are a business leader, we're going to help you become an athlete right here, Mornings in the Lab. And just another reminder, I got to tell you guys what we're all wearing today. But before we do that, we're going to bring the crew on the stage here today. We got Kristina, we got John, we got Marty, and I'm going to flip the old camera over here for myself and describe to you guys what everybody's wearing. I got the old Motley Crue shirt on today, covered by a nice black leather jacket, brown glasses, my black Kangol toque, and my wonderful Shure headphones, followed by my friend Johnny with a red hat on, fuck mental weakness, black glasses, Tina's in her traditional black, Marty's coming into us with his camo, less brunches, more crunches t-shirt with the good old red Beats headphones. Good morning, team. What is going on today? Did you guys think of the opener up, man?
Hey. That was good, brother. Tons of energy. Let's go, baby.
Olive green, not camo. Camo is like the army.
Yes, I was actually going to comment that green. That's a good green, brother. There's some greens that are terrible. That's a good one, baby.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
I got to admit, Marty, I think I might have got the same green as you. Yeah,
it's the same, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of matchy. So, hey, big show today. So we did have a guest plan today, Oscar Smith. Oscar, what's shaking, buddy? I'm sure you're tuning in right now. All good. We're going to get you back here in the near future. Oscar is going to join us here this morning. He is a gym owner, trainer at OD Studios in New York, former gymnast, sprinter, triathlete. But we had a little bit of technical mix-ups. So we're going to invite Oscar back in the near future. We are excited to welcome here into the lab this morning. This is the Morning Loop, the first 50 minutes of your show, which is unpredictable. You don't know what we're going to talk about. But today we're going to talk about, as we get to the deep dive later on in the show, is sex. Are we spending too much time with sex, selling the gym? And of course, boys and girls, we have this guy joining us this morning. It is, where's my button, Marty? It is the future.
So
good morning.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Good morning. So let's go around the table. How is Tina? How was the weekend? We don't call the weekend, but we're calling the weekend here on the Loop this morning.
How was the Loop? It was good. As y'all know, I have been tricked into training again. I had my kettlebell class on Thursday, and I spent the whole weekend touching my joints because they all hurt. I need to figure out a way to flip the kettlebell so they're not smacking my wrists, but that's for another day. But it was good. It was really good. It was relaxing. I feel energized. Keith, I don't know what you took this morning, but I need a little bit of that. I think we all do. So
did you went and got your lift in this weekend, Tina? Like, did you get Saturday and Sunday in both days?
No. I got Thursday, and that was it. But listen, don't worry. I'm making my way.
I love it. That's awesome, man. That is called influence.
Progress, baby. Progress.
That's totally progress. How about you, Johnny? What did you do this weekend? What did you do?
I had an interesting weekend, man. So we're going to LA to do some content, some collabs, and on the way down there on Friday, it's happened before. I've got with what I've done in my career, I'm a little banged up, so I got a nerve in my neck. And what happens is it gets kind of triggered, and I can feel it coming, and I have to move my body in certain positions, kind of relieve the pressure. Anyway, we're in the car and we were basically stuck in traffic, and I couldn't get myself in the proper position to relieve this nerve, to relieve the pressure. And so it starts triggering, dude. And so when I say triggering, if you looked at me in the way that I behave, you would think that I'm getting hit with electric shock, because I like flinch, I squeal like a bitch, it's like so sudden, And so anyway, this thing starts going off on me, and it went all day Friday into Saturday. So here's, here, let me kind of summarize how this fits into life, right? So it was brutal. I was by this Friday night, I was whipped. My whole body was tight from contracting. So check this out. We're coming home. I got to take a piss. So we stop at a bathroom.
What's new?
Of course.
Yeah. We stop at a gas station bathroom, right? And I go in there, and the thing is pretty full. There's dudes waiting for the urinals, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be interesting if this thing hits me. Of course it does. So basically, the only way that I can relieve the pressure is literally when it hits, I bend over and throw my right arm to the ground. It relieves the pinch, and it feels better pretty quickly. But it's accompanied with a big shriek. So I'm in the bathroom, and I scream like a bitch, bend over, throw my arm to the ground, and dudes just backed up to the wall. And a bunch of them ran out the door. It was a perfect way to get to the front of the line and take a piss. So.
You know what's crazy about this, Marty, Tina, is you got some 282-year-old man.
For real.
I'm sorry, not old. 282-pound man coming into this situation, and you use the word shriek.
Oh,
so
dude!
What does that
shriek.
sound? What is
so think like this. If you were to, like, you ever done something where you get shocked and it's just so sudden, and you make this sound, it's like, where did that come from? That's the bitch inside me making that sound. But it was an interesting weekend, to say the least.
No kidding. Yeah. Christopher Martin, how was Marty? Were you shrieking this weekend, brother?
No shrieks this weekend. I had less brunches, more crunches pop-up shop that went, that went really well. I mean, I damn near sold out. So dude,
that was great. I know you got the cash register button. Come on, let's hear it.
Oh yeah, I got that. Come on, man. Hanging with you guys, I gotta have that button.
Attaboy. So did you ring?
So what'd you make? Like, what'd you make? Can you give us a ballpark?
Yes.
That's what's the honest work.
How about you guess?
All right, let's guess. I'm gonna say that you made yourself I don't know, $5,000. Tina,
not that much. I was only there for 4 hours.
I was gonna go 1,200.
Johnny,
close to that, Tina. Close.
Well, I'm gonna just go a little above Tina because he's already revealed himself. So I'll say 1,500.
So what is this? Like, the price is right this morning on the morning loop. Marty's gonna go $1, please. Marty, what is it at?
Yeah, about 1,500.
Dude, that's
amazing.
Awesome, man.
Are you selling this stuff online, brother, or primarily just like this? Do you have?
I'm doing it online too. Mm-hmm.
Good. Because that's when you just wake up. Waking up to money is the best thing,
Yeah. Yep.
It is. People there though. You got a pop-up shop. Like, how did you market it for people like in the audience who want?
I actually didn't market it. I'm gonna start marketing it, but I just wanted to test it out. Just something random because it wasn't an event or anything. So I just wanted to test it out and see what happened, and it ended up being great. So I'm gonna market the one I do next week. I'm gonna do another one next week.
Come on, Tina. Don't you know, like Marty? Tina, Marty lives in Merlin, and everybody in Merlin knows where Marty is. So when Marty just shows up, like the pop-up shop, they're like, "Oh, there's Marty, the less brunches, more crunches guy." So hence he's the he's the no marketing Merlin Marty. Good morning, Marks Alexander. What's happening? Hey, what's happening? You have tuned into, you have stumbled upon, you have found the biggest, greatest, most alive morning show happening on the planet right now. 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern time. The morning show, Mornings and Alive with myself, Keith, John, Marty, and our producer, Kristina Flynn. We get out of bed every single day to help you guys get up every single day and help you hit your big, audacious, freaking goals. So I have something I want to throw on the table for the loop this morning, and it is... Listen, guys, you're tuning in this morning and you're starting your week, as we like to call it here, and you're wondering what's the best way to self-introduce yourself with 3 tips. Tina, when you go to meet somebody, How do you find yourself introducing yourself, Kristina Flynn? And how do you nail that introduction? Not the elevator pitch. You're walking up to somebody for the first time and you're making your first impression. Tell me how you do it. Marty, you're next. Johnny, you're next. And I'm going to give you guys 3 tips on how to nail that self-introduction as you start your week off. Tina, what are you doing? How are you doing it?
So I got to be honest, it depends on the audience. I'm going to change it up because it doesn't really matter about me. It matters about them. And I'm going to connect with them by being empathetic and drawing on something. So if I'm walking into, say, a cocktail party with my wife, people are looking at me already. So I kind of give them like a bit of what they're always going to expect. Like, I just kind of keep it chill. I keep, hey, how's it going, Kristina? Nice to meet you. We don't get into the what do you do? And if it's what do you do, they're like, oh, listen, you're not going to be interested in that. I'm not interested in your side. So let's just call it what it is, you know? And then we start the banter.
Marty, what about you, man? When you go meet somebody, do you have a strategy? Do you just wing it? I know you're a big wing it kind of guy, joke, pun. But when you go meet somebody for the first time, and you did it this weekend, how are you working on making that first impression?
So we talking in person or virtually?
Let's go in person.
It has 2 methods. All right, in person.
Yeah.
Firm handshake, eye contact, speak loud and clearly, and then try to make a connection. So like somebody, they asked for my brand on Instagram. So I saw Instagram and I just look at who they followed, like our mutual followers. And then I started a conversation off of that. And they ended up FaceTiming. So now I got a new customer and potential client. So I always look for some type of connection to keep a conversation going because people like to talk about themselves. So.
Love that technique. That's brilliant. Really smart. That's a great tip. Johnny, what about you, man? So I'm going to joke first of all. So, you're walking up to somebody and you're not just a little man. So there's Jon Andersen walking up, a little bit of a train behind you, 280 pounds. You're walking up, a big smile on your face. You extend your hand for a handshake. And then Jon Andersen, what happens?
Well, you hit it on the head. First off, I have to be approaching with a smile on my face.
Yes.
That's what opens the door. Otherwise, I show up to a limp hand and this kind of stuff. So big smile, a nice handshake. How are you? Ask a question. Because really, what it comes down to, my goal is to basically show them that the first impression is not what they're actually getting. And then, through a short bit of conversation, once they hear me talk, they're like, okay, what he's saying and what he looks like don't match up very well. So I need to be a little bit more open-minded here.
Yes.
And that's the deal. But keep in mind, there are plenty of people who will judge a book by its cover.
Yes.
And not even give it a shot, but that's okay because the people that are not open-minded, I don't want in my space anyway.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Johnny. I think that's what Kristina's opinion was when she first saw our show and saw us. She's like, judge book by its cover, and then, they speak. Oh, they're not what the cover looks like. Oh, they're actually not too bad of guys. They have some stuff going on in the head here. Wasn't that what you were thinking, Kristina?
Oh, 100%. It speaks about the importance of brand, though. Whether you like it or not, people are writing a story about you. So if you don't fill in those gaps, they're going to fill it in for you.
That's exactly it. So let me give you guys, before we head to the accountability check and let me give you guys 3 tips. You guys all heard some great tips from Tina and Marty and John this morning. But let me give you 3 additional tips when you're going to go meet somebody today or this week as you're getting your day rolling here. Keep it brief. Make that self-introduction the same length or shorter than those who preceded you. Concise introductions, nation, shows respect for others. You're not sitting there reading a book on, like, I'm sure John's not walking up to you and giving you a 90-minute presentation on his accomplishments in bodybuilding and strongman and wrestling. No, he's keeping it brief. He's smiling. He's probably customizing and personalizing it like Marty does, making sure he's kind of got a sense of who you are. And you know what I like to do, guys? I like to find something in common. So if I meet Tina at a hockey game or something, or at like a Jets Maple Leafs game, I might put that in my head and then use that as a reference point the next time I see her to relate back to that situation. So you're
really good at that.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Keep it brief, customize, and personalize it. But I like this. This is why I wanted to throw it on the table, guys. Use the simple 3-point self-introduction framework. Present, first, share your name and title. Past, establish some credibility by sharing 2 to 3 points that provide relevant details. Yeah, I'm Johnny. I wrestled before. I was a bodybuilder and I was a strongman. Great. And the future, I'm part of the biggest morning show on the planet. Right, so you've introduced yourself, you've set the past, and you've set the future, and now someone's like, "Oh, who's this Jon Andersen guy?" So there's your Johnny.
I would love for you to do that at a
if
wedding.
I was to walk up to somebody and say, "I'm John," by the way, I was a pro wrestler, pro bodybuilder, be like, "Who is this freaking lame dick?" You know, get this guy out of here. And I'd be saying that about myself. I'd beat him to the punch. So be careful. Be careful with creating your credibility. Do it with a little couth.
Yeah. Oh, a little couth. Oh, there's a good word from Jon Andersen this morning. A little couth. I like that one, Johnny. There you go, Tina.
I was just going to say, maybe don't start with all that. Have that in the back of your mind. Have it prepped of like past, present, past, future. But yeah, if somebody walked up to you at a wedding and said all that shit to you, I would walk away.
I'd be like, yeah, where in the hell is my wife? Where is somebody I can talk to right now?
Oh,
Jesus. People do that all the time.
But it's gonna happen. You're gonna, if you engage in a conversation, you ask a question of them, the odds are gonna ask that question back, and then you'll have the stage if that's really what you're looking for.
That's it.
But when someone asks a question and you tell them that, it's very different than when you just come forth and start trying to suck your own cock, so to speak.
Man.
All right, we're going to take a quick little break here. Yes, I'm telling you. If you
what do you guys? Hold on, I was talking about a rooster. What are you guys getting all bent out of shape about? Huh? You sickos! Come on, man.
We're accountability checking.
Come on, man.
We're talking roosters, and John's gonna go play with his rooster while we get to the accountability check-in. Oh, we got Tina in the green room. We got Marty in the green room. We got Johnny in the green room. We got Keith here for the accountability check-in. Mornings in the lab. We got the energy here today, nation. And listen, I got something for you guys to think about. Feelings, oh man, feelings can be shitless. Yeah, that's it. But don't let them fool you. No, don't. You know that kick you get when someone inspires you, or when you have a new goal and you're ready to go, like I am right now. That fire never lasts. So don't get too attached to it. Emotions, those are real. Yeah, but you can't always trust those emotions. Instead, I got something for you to invite yourself to. Trust your purpose. Yes, trust your purpose instead, and ask yourself, is my mindset all dialed in? Or am I mentally ready for success? I'm asking you, do I actually believe I deserve the results? Or can you change how you think? Can you change how you act? Because that's how I want it becomes lean in for this. That's how it becomes I did it. So there you go. Change how you think, change how you act, because when you do that, you're going to move from I want to I did. That's your accountability check-in coming in for you 8:19 Eastern time on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, Marty, and friends here this morning. Hanging out with you guys. Kicking off today, we're talking to Sex Sell. We're going to move into the center stage segment of the show here. We're going to put a key topic on the table. Typically, we like to throw a key guest, a key topic on the table and discuss it. Today, I think I'm going to get into a little bit of a intimate conversation with my friends. Tina's like, what? Yeah. Bring Marty back up there.
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, so we were talking about roosters and shit before Johnny left for the...
Always got interesting topics on this show, man.
Always got interesting topics on the show.
Always.
So I thought that... so we were going to typically get into a conversation with Oscar Smith right now around, just getting to know ARSCA and gym culture. At the bottom of the hour for Deep Dive, boys, we are going to chat about gym culture and how it's changing. John, I know you owned a gym for many years. Marty, I know you spend a lot of time in a gym. Marty, I know you spend a lot of time putting content out there about all the ridiculous happenings that are going on in the gyms these days. So I want to talk about that. And then we're going to get into macronutrients and nutrition at the top of the bottom of the hour here, at top of the hour here. So, but first of all, I want to get to something that's I'm using to fill a gap here this morning. And it is it's not controversial. It's real life. And it is it's things men wish. Johnny, looking to you, pal. You and me. I'm going to teach our friend Marty here.
I'm listening, man.
Yeah. Things that men wish things that men wish women would do in the bedroom that are honestly not what we thought.
Say that again.
Yeah. So I'm just going to pull it up here properly on my screen here because I had a little bit of technical challenge. So things that men wish women would do in the bedroom. So I'll give you an example. All right. So here's an example of one. Johnny, there are times that we men want to be seduced. Don't take for granted, my dear, that I'm always 100% ready to go at the drop of the hat. Sometimes I want to have some pillow talk. Sometimes I want to be touched and cuddled and loved, and not just jump into the edge of the coffee table, Johnny. So let's just talk about the fact that sometimes, my friend, my dear women out there, your man, your partner just doesn't want to drop the drawers and get at it. Sometimes he wants some little bit of foreplay and fun, Johnny.
My first thought is if there's this big of a disconnect between the two, they need to start talking about what they like. I mean, that's the first thing when way back when, even when I was, in my mid 20s, and if I was with a chick, I would just flat, okay, let's talk about when we're getting down, what's the likes? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I want to know what buttons to push.
Yes.
I'm going to be much more successful if I got a bit of a roadmap. So as a married couple, if you don't know what each other wants, then you got to start talking.
Yes. However, there's so many, I'm looking at this article here. I'm going to think that there's so many beautiful women. Marty, going to come to you next, pal. So many beautiful women have never once thought about how to seduce a man past dressing cute. Oh, but I look cute. I got some cute underwear on. The guy wants to have fun with me. But Marty, there's much more than that, isn't there, my friend?
It's more to it, but you kind of just gotta, as a man, you kind of just gotta accept women and who they are and what their tendencies are, and you kind of just roll with it, kind of just, yeah.
There you go.
You're not changing them, right? Yeah.
Maybe there's the reason that men are from, what is it, Mars and Venus, that whole book back there from the 1800s. But listen, Here's another thing. Johnny brought this up. We like our partners, and again, I'm speaking from the point of view of men. We like our partners to communicate what they like and don't like, because communication is sexy. John, I'm glad you said that. And to add to this, we often aren't just going to figure it out based on subtle things. That doesn't apply to every guy, but little cues and whatnot might be helpful. John, talk about the power of communication. And I really want you to talk about the power of communication. You've been married for a couple of years. I say that tongue in cheek. Communication is the foundation to every successful relationship. Let's talk about that, especially with how it relates to the bedroom. Jon Andersen.
I mean, with Terry and I, my wife and I mean, we just literally we'll just talk about it like it's okay. We know that sex is a part of our life. We know that we got something coming. What are we doing? Are we doing, are we getting down? Or are we doing a quickie? We almost have like different categories of what we're going to do based upon, who knows, based upon time, based upon how we're feeling. But I think the idea of, I know for many people, it feels difficult to have these conversations, but the first time you do anything is difficult. So here's the thing. It's, be a little bit vulnerable, be a little bit embarrassed, be a little bit whatever it takes to have this conversation, because you're going to be enriching the sexual aspect of your relationship. And that's, important. Sex is an important part of a healthy relationship. So get uncomfortable and have that conversation. Yes, absolutely. Marty, comment on that piece. Power of communication. And I bring it up, Marty, and I look at you, and not to put you on the spot as our 31-year-old friend here, because I know you're still working your way through, you're hanging out with the females and jigging them up and bringing them into your world. But Johnny brings up a wonderful point about the power of communication. It's so difficult to do, yet so powerful to walk towards. Marty, it's hard to sit down with a young lady to talk about sex, isn't it?
At a certain point, if you've been with them for a certain amount of time, I actually don't find it difficult. But communication is everything, and I feel like a lot of people don't communicate now for whatever reason. And I don't know if your generation was like that when y'all were my age, but now communication, just not with dating and sex, like just in general, it's lost. So I mean, I find my best relationships are with people who know how to communicate with and who have that open door, because I have an open door at all times. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. And here's the thing. You got to look at this, guys, if this is a new concept for you, look at it like foreplay. This is an exciting conversation. You know, I mean, when you're having a conversation with your lady about what she likes.
Yes.
I mean, how is she not going to get excited? How are you not going to get excited? Look at it, look forward to it. You know, turn it into some foreplay. You know, I mean, you know, there's so much to talk about and there's so much fun to be had. How could you not have fun with this conversation? Just get a little uncomfortable. It's always the most difficult the first time.
Well, you know what's funny, John, too, is that we live in a world now where we have these messaging devices in our hands where if you're nervous to speak in front of your partner or your lover, using your words out of your mouth, great step. Exactly. Start with text, right? Drop a flirty message throughout the day, and one thing leads to another, right? So here's something, boys, ladies, don't use sex as a reward system. I want you to want it because you like it, not as a treat or a chore or whatever. Marty, you first, man. What do you think of this? Don't use sex as a reward system, ladies.
Yes, it can't be a reward system at all, and I think a lot of women forget. Sorry, not to sound cocky, but I think a lot of women forget. Like, you know, you're not the only woman that likes me, right? I can go get it somewhere else. So don't sit here and act like like I'm a prisoner. All right, so let's get that off the table right now. Just keeping it 100. I know Tina's looking like, oh my God, Chris.
Well, I think it needs to be used for everything. It should be because you're happy, because you're sad, because it could be serve every purpose. But I agree. It shouldn't be just for, this one thing, but I mean, it's a natural part of life. I mean, you sometimes, having sex, or if you're being really intimate in a time when you're emotional, that's really, really important. There's other times when there's nothing emotional about this. Let's just get down. It serves all different purposes. And I think as long as it's not, like you said, that singular, hey, it's a reward, I don't think that's healthy. I mean, that's even goes back to food. You shouldn't use food as a reward.
Yes, exactly. Hey, hanging out with Keith, John, and Marty. Good morning's in the lab with Keith and friends here. We're talking about things that men wish women would do in the bedroom that we maybe aren't talking enough about. And here's one, Johnny. And this is here's a big one. Lack of an erection does not equal lack of interest. It happens. Times it happens. We're like, nah, maybe there's something going on in my head. Maybe I'm just kind of distracted. Maybe the plumbing's just not working right now because I chewed on a big Five Guys burger for 5 nights in a row, or maybe because I'm drinking too much. But it does not equal lack of interest. Jon Andersen.
Oh man, when when I was literally when I was younger, when I was just learning this whole drill, man, I could be so freaking fired up, man. And it just wasn't working. I'm like, dude, what's going on here, man? You feel like you're going to empty the clip just trying to put this freaking condom on. Then when it's time to get down, you go flaccid on me. What's going on? It's like sometimes it just happens that way, and I think for especially a young male that's just trying to learn how to do all this, just realize that may be part of the equation, and it's okay, and it'll get better. But don't. I guess from a man's standpoint, I felt like it was like really putting a dent in my manhood. Like, come on, man, what is wrong with you? You finally get this chance and you choke, Well,
I think we all could probably relate to that. There's situations where we get ourselves in a moment where we're like, it ain't working. Why is it not working like it's supposed to be working?
Yeah, and then you got to try to cover it up. So then you got to try to do other things to try to, so she can't figure out what's going on, because the last thing you want to do is lose your shot. I'm talking about, teenage stuff here, but yeah, I mean, if for a young male, when that used to happen to me, it was so first embarrassing, then just debilitating. It would beat up my self-esteem, as if I didn't already have problems as a fat little dumb son of a bitch. They're going to add this into the equation.
Yes. Marty, I gotta. So listen, it happens to all of us, and shit, man, it happens to me still these days. Sometimes I'm like, I kind of, you beat yourself up, you laugh about it, you have some fun with your partner about it. But Marty, looking at you, pal, you've experienced the situations where it's like, well, no, actually, I'm quite interested. I just got a lot going on in my head right now.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. It's part of being a man, but you got to learn. Like, that's when you educate yourself. Like, what macronutrients or micronutrients do I need to keep in my body? What can I keep what can I do to keep my testosterone high? That's when you educate yourself, so you lower the risk of that happening. So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it happens to everybody.
There's a brain thing to this. It's like literally like you hear me talking about brain chemistry all the time. So when you're basically have some low grade anxiety, you're in basically a fight or flight scenario. Your body is not designed to hump when you're in fight or flight. You know, when you're go ahead, Marty.
I was going to say, and I think you shouldn't be thinking about humping if you have a real life situation going on. Like if you got some shit you got to handle, humping should be the last thing on your mind. So it's actually a good thing.
And if you got an opportunity and you want to get down, just say, okay, you know what? I got to take this anxiety. I'm going to think of some gratitude. I'm going to think of something makes me happy. I'm going to think about what's in front of me, and I'm going to get some chemistry that's going to support that piece of wood so I can get my business going. But the brain is a big part of that. You know, when we're, you know, stricken with some sort of low grade anxiety, cortisol is not going to keep you. Cortisol not going to give you a diamond cutter. Let's just put it that way.
Cortisol is not going to give you a diamond cover here.
That's it.
If you cutting diamond, you got other shit to worry about. If you out here cutting diamonds, man, that's crazy.
You're hanging out with Keith, John, and CMartyFit, and we're going to continue this conversation later on in the hour. And boys, we're going to bring up producer Kristina Flynn for a different perspective on this conversation. We know Christina's married to an awesome wife named Erin, and we know that Kristina has a different perspective on this. So we're going to bring Kristina up, and we're going to continue the chat with Kristina on this one. And but before we do that, I want to congratulate boys. We have somebody that joined us, discovered the show a couple weeks back. And you know what we like to do, right? We like to encourage people to get up, get their ass going, not hit the snooze button, hit goals, get moving, don't sit around. Guess what, guys? Cosmic Vision's back again, hitting the fucking treadmill,
baby,
doing what you're doing and kicking ass this morning. So Cosmic, boom, boom, keep getting after it. We are right behind you, my friend. And you know what? You appreciate us. We appreciate you. You know what we appreciate is going to happen next? Because Jimmy's calling me out, boys. Keep me on the clock. This. Johnny, time for you to go, brother. Me too.
Oh, it's me. Let's do it, baby.
All right, let's do it. We got the fitness tip for today. Why did I lose the screen? Here we go. All right. Now, this here is controversial. I posted about this a few times on social media. Not sure why there's so much controversy behind it, but it is what it is. Let go of the treadmill handrails. Come on, guys. Let's be honest. Okay, if you're holding on to the treadmill during your cardio sessions, it's time to switch it up. Okay, a lot of people hold on to maintain balance, push through fatigue, speed up, go at a higher incline, but this is going to hurt your workout more than it's helping. Let's talk about it some more. You're cheating yourself out of calories burned. If you let go of the treadmill and walk on an incline or sprint or run, whatever you're doing, you're going to burn more calories than if you were to hold on. Okay, holding on reduces the intensity of your workout. It's not attacking that central nervous system the same way as if you were to let go. Letting go forces your body to work harder to maintain balance, which means you'll burn more calories as well. Okay, this messes with your natural form. When you walk or run outside, you don't have handrails. Okay, grabbing on the treadmill can cause bad posture, leading to neck, shoulder, and lower back pain. Okay, lastly, less core activation. When your hands free, your core muscles are engaged to stabilize your body. So you working your core on many exercises, right? Even when you don't necessarily feel it being isolated. Walking on the treadmill is one of those. So you want to keep your core activated as much as you can in your workout. Holding on takes away from this, from that important part of the workout. So listen, focus on controlling your pace, controlling your posture, lower the treadmill, the treadmill's incline, lower the speed, and work your way up as your cardiovascular system gets better. Okay. If you feel unsteady or tired, slow down, but those handrails off the treadmill will maximize your results. That's the fitness tip for today.
The fit tip of the day with with Christopher Martin. CMartyFit drops at 8:30 every single time. No, I'm not Christopher Martin.
Keith's fitness tip.
That's Christopher Martin coming with the fit tip of the day today. Marty, I got to be honest with you, man. I've been watching your content around that walking on the treadmill type thing, and it's and Cosmic. Yes, thanks for. And he's giving you thanks for the tip, Marty. That's the thing. Oh, yeah. Walking on treadmill, holding the handmills type thing, or holding the handrails. It's absolutely a thing, isn't it, Marty?
Yeah, people swear by it, man. I'm telling them you're not getting the same results in that workout. And you can feel the difference. If you walk on an incline without holding on versus holding on, you'll feel the difference. So you know which one is better.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Okay, guys, let's get to the deep dive topic here on the show this morning. And I'm just going to clean this up here. All right. So, Doom, let's do this. Okay. Boys, Johnny, you owned a gym. Marty, you spend a lot of time in the gym these days, training customers and so forth. And when I got my own gym here at the house here, but when I was spending time in the commercial gym down the street years ago, things seem to be changing, and social media has had a massive role in shaping gym culture. Marty, I know you spend a lot of time creating fun content around what's happening in the gyms. John, well, let's get to this, guys. 43% of gym goers report feeling pressured to post about their fitness routines on social media. Social media has transformed gyms from a place of personal improvement to a stage for public display. Some would say maybe they've even turned into sex clubs or nightclubs or performance venues. Marty, I'm going to start with you first, brother, today. Talk about how social media has transformed the gyms from a place of personal improvement, literally to a stage. And I remember a piece of content you put up a couple of months ago where you showed me a gym where they were actually having a fucking concert in the gym and people were twerking along the way to this concert happening in the gym. Marty, you first. Talk about the changing roles of gym culture. Johnny, you next.
Yeah, well, the gym is an intimate setting. Okay, you got people bending over. You got people with tight clothes on. You got people with skin showing. So it's already intimate. So, let's keep it real. This is men and women. You see something you attracted to, which is probably going to happen in the gym, and you have certain thoughts. You had them thoughts in the gym. Come on, let's be real. Like, let's keep it real. And with that alone, along with social media, with the dopamine of getting likes, getting clicks, getting follows, getting attention, people see a lane for that. Yeah. And so just in this era, it's just going to continue to 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x as social media continues to grow. The content is going to continue to get worse because people are always going to continue to want attention.
Yes. Johnny, what are your thoughts on the changing of gym culture? I know it's been a few years since you've owned your gym, but as you sit back and observe from afar, Johnny, what's your point of view on the whole situation?
It really kind of comes down to the fact that the person who is at the gym should have a better judgment. In my gym, I had, I had different. We were more of a boutique. It was like not. It was yes, it was public, but people came there for a purpose, and it was way too expensive for people just to show up there. And so we would actually have for the groups, if it was a group of high schoolers, we would call it a no phone zone. You put your phone in the bucket.
Oh yeah.
Wow. So because it was like, hey, your parents are paying a lot of money for you to be here. The last thing they want is for you to be on your phone when you're supposed to be learning how to kick ass.
I would think that wouldn't work today. Does that work? Does that work in 2024, Johnny?
Well, if you're in a really specific type of a program, yes. But if it's just if it's parents dropping their kids off to be babysit, no, it ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? A lot of times parents will drop their kids off at some program because they just don't want to deal with them for a while. But those are usually fairly cheap, as to where, my setup was a little different. But then there was the adult side. And what we did was because we protected the culture big time. And if someone was disrupting that culture, and a phone might be one of many ways they could have disrupted it, they'd get warned. And if they basically third strike, they were out. They would lose their membership. We consider ourselves private for that reason.
Yeah. Hey, Marty,
we bump anybody anytime we wanted to.
Interesting. I like that. Marty, is social media in fitness, let's just be frank here, man. Is it toxic, or is it just frankly the new reality? Is Johnny and myself just the old guys where yourself and the generations around us now are saying, come on, old guys, fucking shut up. This is what it is. We like to take pictures of ourselves. We like to take tripods to the gym. We like to post selfies of ourselves. No, you guys are toxic because you're not just accepting the fact that this is now reality in today's gym. Christopher Martin.
I don't think it's toxic as a whole, but I think there are toxic elements. And I think there needs to be consequences for those toxic elements. We need to ban people from the gym. You might need to ban people from every gym in your city or surrounding areas, because some of the stuff I see is egregious. But you can get a lot of great info on social media. I follow some great pages. I even cover some of those great pages on my show, whether it's nutrition, whether it's weightlifting, whether it's cardio, and including myself, I put some great content out there as well. So we need the content. The reality is we are an obese country here in America.
Mm-hmm.
People are not aware about nutrition. They don't know how to work out. They don't understand the benefits of it, the physical and mental benefits. So we need content. We need that good content. So I'm not going to say it's toxic as a whole, but a lot of that bullshit, unfortunately, people think that's the real gym culture, and it's not. So that the bullshit is definitely toxic.
Now, John, before you comment on Johnny, 70% of social media folks say that they have been influenced to hit the gym or have been influenced to make a step to better themselves because of something they've seen, a gym selfie, something happening in the gym. So something that you might think is toxic, Johnny, or you might think Marty is egregious, or I might think is fucking ridiculous, might actually motivate somebody to do something. How can we judge that person with the tripod in the gym got old Lisa doing something? Who is it for us to judge that person's got them going for maybe what we don't believe in? Johnny.
Well, I think what we're already seeing is it's a very, very small scale, which will end up kind of taking this problem and kind of helping it divide. It's going to divide itself because there are already gyms that are basically that don't allow phones on the floor. And, and it's like, there's no excuses. This is the rules. If you want to be here, it's to protect you. Mm-hmm. And the people that really value that, the people that don't value that, they won't go there. So I think as we move forward, we're going to be seeing a bigger separation with the people who want to go and use their phones and film or do what they do, sit on the bench and do social media. And then we're going to see the other side where people said, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go to a place where that's not allowed, and everybody's going to support that. Now, to what you're saying, sometimes a piece of social media will inspire someone to do something good, one to do something bad. That's just the nature of how it works. But bottom line is, if you're getting inspired by something on social media, use that to help you move forward. Don't use that to basically have you go into the gym and try to recreate something that it's not about recreating social media. It's about using that as inspiration to actually better your health and fitness.
Yeah.
Marty, like I wanted to say, like the girl I responded to a while ago who was working out in Walmart, somebody was like, she's inspiring people. I'm like, I'm not sure how this is inspiring people. So people just calling anything inspiration now because it's gym related. So it's getting ridiculous.
Marty, are you finding at least in your facility there in Maryland where you train, are phones and cameras allowed, or has management said no cameras / phones, or is there a trend happening, Marty, or is it basically everything is it a free for all still, Chris?
Everything's allowed in there.
I think at this point it's only private places that are doing it. I bet from a legal standpoint, you couldn't have a public facility and make a rule like that. Somebody would sue your ass, which is ridiculous.
Oh, interesting. I never thought about that. Right?
I don't know, but I believe that the places that are popping up that are having these rules, they're doing it because they list themselves as private. That's how I did my gym too. Gave me full control.
Yeah, we got So Young joining us here in the lab here. And So Young, good morning, So Young. What's shaking there, kid? Good morning, guys. My gym at Orange Theory does not allow phones inside the class.
Bam,
right?
There we go. Let's go, baby.
That's and it makes me wonder if that's a trend. And I think, John, you said it best, right? The boutique type gyms. Listen, if you're there to train, if you're tuning into this show, you're probably there to train. You're not there to fuck around, right? So you put your phone aside. You're not too caught up on the selfies and so forth. But there are facilities popping up around North America, which are basically social media production first facilities, gym second. Chris, Marty, comment on that.
Oh, I haven't heard of that, but that would be interesting to see. But that's actually good.
That's straight business, man. That's all that is. Yeah. That's just business.
That's exactly what it is.
People, that's perfect though. People need that because it can be a hassle trying to get your content in a regular gym.
Yes.
Some people are assholes when you got a tripod. People will purposely walk over or bump your tripod. I just saw a video of someone picking someone's tripod up and moving it. What is wrong with you? Don't touch my stuff. So That's pretty good.
We have a big comment coming us from Good Time here this morning, guys, where Good Time says that his gym doesn't allow gallon water jugs. Oh,
Now that's the excuse right there. Coach, I can't get my water in. Jon Andersen, I can't drink my water today.
All right.
But on the last thing I want to leave on that is there's a certain level of respect that a person should have for a business owner. Yes, we're talking about gyms. Like when I'm going to go into the gym and I'm going to film and I have my videographer with me, I'm going to call ahead and I'm going to say, hey, are you good with this? Or I'll bring him in and go talk to me. And they're always going to say yes. They're going to be fine with it. But it's the fact that you had the class to ask, makes a big, big difference. Just show a little respect to the business owner. He's trying to run a business. He's trying to please a lot of people. A little respect goes a long way.
I'm going to get to the lifestyle tip in a second with Johnny, but Marty, the last 30 seconds, what logical advice, right? Like we could avoid so many problems if the dude or the dudette just picked up the phone and said, hey, Jim. Yeah, Jim. Yes, dudette or dude. I'm coming down to the gym today with my camera equipment to shoot. Okay, great. Johnny, the power of respect, how far that goes if you just give the guy a heads up that you want to do that. Never even thought about that, but man, the power of respect that would happen if you did that.
I just want to add, a lot of influencers in general, but specifically fitness influencers are super entitled and assholes, and they think they can do whatever they want. I'm sure Johnny has met some people in the fitness world that, some of the people just so rude and so full of themselves. So that's probably an issue right there, and why they wouldn't call ahead.
I mean, when I'm on the road, I tell my videographer, look, you find us a spot, call around, find the spot that's welcoming us, because it's just, again, it's respect. It even helps us because then we don't have resistance from management when we're in there doing our thing.
I love it. All right. The sound effect, lifestyle tip of the day, something. And hey, you never know when John might say, put some protein in your pocket, like ground beef or nuts. And we don't know what he's going to say today. Jon Andersen, the lifestyle tip, coming up.
All right, here we go. You guys hear me use the phrase, if they're talking smack, you're on the right track. But let's break that down. Sometimes people don't quite understand it the way that I intend for them to understand it. So here on this show, we're promoting you to be the best version of you. We want you to be the best version of you as an athlete, the best version of you as a business owner or entrepreneur or whatever you're doing in business, the best version of you with your family. So here's the deal. When you step outside the box and you commit to, entrepreneurship or your health and fitness, whatever you commit to in a really, really serious way that's bigger and better, call it extraordinary from the average man, you are going to have people talking shit. Sometimes it will even be your family. So here's what I want you guys to remember. When people are talking smack about you, it means that you're doing something extraordinary. It means you're on the right path to do something that's bigger and better than the norm. So don't look at these people that are throwing turds at you as some negative thing. Look at it more like a barometer. Okay, yeah, they're throwing turds. I must be doing something right. Be more worried if they stop talking, because remember, if they're talking smack, you're on the right track. Rock and roll.
Oh, I love it. If they're talking smack, they are. If they're talking smack, hey, you're on the right track. With Jon Andersen here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, CMartyFit, and producer Kristina Flynn. We are coming back with what we call the protein break. It is this part in the show. We keep creating these new segments for you guys. We want to keep talking nutrition. We want to talk food. We talk fitness. We talk business. We talk all the great topics to help you guys get moving during the day. And we thought we'd introduce this segment to give you something to think about when it comes to food. And today, John and Marty, I wanted to talk about macros and their role in weight loss. Now, John, Marty, we talk about calories in the world often, and we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about calories today. I want to focus on macros. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that individuals who track their macronutrient intake are 2.5 times more likely to maintain weight loss long-term compared to those who don't. Now, before we get into why and what. Johnny, let's pause for a moment and introduce Business Athlete Nation to what are macronutrients and why they matter. I'm going to start with you, Johnny. Let's get into it, brother.
What's a macronutrient is basically when you say your macros, what you're saying is your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. That's it. It's just all it's doing is breaking the different types of foods or breaking calories into 3 subsections. So that way, when you're tracking your macros, you're tracking how much protein you're eating, how much carbohydrate you're eating, and how much fat you're eating. Tracking period is going to help you. Obviously, tracking calories is not nearly as good as tracking macros, but even when you're tracking macros, you have to be careful because, like, per example, not all proteins are created equal. So let's say you got 25 grams of a whey protein, which is a processed kind of low quality protein. That 25 grams does not react in your body the same as, say, 25 grams of a good organic ground beef. So remember, tracking your macros is great, but you also have to understand the quality of the macro if you really, really want to get it right.
Yes. Johnny, why is it so confusing for folks to sort this out?
Well, here's the thing. It's just like any other part of life. You can't just buy a gym membership and expect that you understand all this. That's like me saying, well, shit, I bought an Apple computer. Now I can write code.
Yes.
No, hell no. Just because you can walk into a GNC doesn't mean that you understand nutrition. So there's a level of, call it a level of investigation, a level of self-education, a level of education in general. However you want to do it, you got to acquire the information you need so you can actually make the progress you want. I mean, knowledge is power.
Yes. Marty, coming to you for a quick second here, brother. But first of all, Mike McQuillan joins and says, what a jip. I thought you'd be talking about sex this morning. For the record, I don't own a cell phone. If I did, I wouldn't bring it onto the gym floor. Actually, Mike, we have been talking sex this morning.
You were just late to the party, brother.
You were just late, man. And in about 8 minutes, we're going to continue the conversation about sex because we are going to lean back into things that men wish women would do in the bedroom. But we're going to invite Kristina Flynn onto the stage. So we're going to have a conversation about what humans wish that we would all do when we get into the bedroom. So Quillen, Mike, I'm sorry, man. I'm just forever going to introduce the N into your name. So as long as I know you, brother, and we talked earlier on in the show about ways to introduce ourselves. Well, to me, you just have N in your name. So I'm sorry, brother. But listen, we're talking about macronutrients. Marty, how aware when people come to you, Marty? You got somebody knocking on your door like, Marty, I need to lose weight. I'm feeling fat. I don't like this gut on my ass. How aware are people of their macronutrient intake?
Oh, if I'm missing something, is there such a thing as a gut on your ass?
I said it too, John. I'm like, fuck, did I just say that? Yeah.
If your ass has got a gut, man, you need some help.
We talk so much in this show, man. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, I love that. I was like, this is juicy. We got to have some fun with this one, man. I got
so many jokes, man. I'm going to let it go today, though. I'm going to let it go.
I'm the one who does the post-production after, and I sit upstairs in the studio going, fuck, did I just say that today, really?
That would be one saggy ass to have a gut, man. I can't even imagine. Oh, that's nasty.
Oh, man.
Marty, are people aware of their macronutrient intake? Or do they just focus on calories? And at what point in society can we stop talking about calories? That seems like a 1980s topic. Like, why can't we get folks focused on whole nutrient-dense foods and macros instead of calorie? Christopher Martin.
I think times are changing, but there's an obsession with calories, and not only that, people want to lose weight as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Right. So when you talk macronutrients and adding them to and changing them and tracking them, you're talking about a gradual process of changing. You're building muscle, burning fat. It takes months. It takes years sometimes. And it doesn't sound sexy. People aren't into that. So calories is the way to go. And it sounds sexy. You see a snack that you like. Oh yeah, it's low calorie. Let me get that. It sounds sexy. And you can still have your favorite snack. Same with the drink, whether that's coffee, whether it's a low sugar drink, a Diet Coke, it sounds sexy. So like I said, times are changing, but I think that's just that quick result and you making an easy change and not really having to put work in and be consistent and disciplined. that's why the focus is on calories instead of macronutrients.
Yeah, I think so, Johnny. I think I want to relate to both you and Chris here for a second. So I'm not the fitness guy on our panel, right? I'm the business dude who tries to be the athlete. So I'm probably perhaps speaking more to our audience from their perspective. So what I want to say to you guys is this: I've struggled with this my whole life, right? Figuring this all out. And what I have found has worked for me, because I'm an analytical type human, is that I like macros. I like knowing what's going in my body. I like to know the numbers. John, I like your train of thinking, which is eat this, eat this, eat this. And I can appreciate that. Where I struggle with is that I like to ask the question of, well, but why and how much? So what I have enjoyed learning in my life is knowing what my numbers are and then hitting my numbers, but with the right quality food. And what I mean, Johnny, is I know that often the big knock on counting macronutrients is, well, yeah, but you could hit your macros by eating crap. True. But that's for those that are uneducated. Yes. I would prefer to hit my macros by eating whole nutrient food. So yes, I can hit my protein and my fats and my carbs by eating just this thing throughout the day and then starving myself. But that's not going to help me hit my goals. So if I'm saying to myself, I need to hit 200 grams of protein per day, well, I can choose the lazy route by eating Big Macs and Reese's peanut butter and still get those macros. Or I can go the clean longevity route by eating for purpose and eating for a long life, but still hitting my macros. So Johnny, again, I guess what I'm saying is, I know your teaching is all about eat this, and I'm going to help you not having to make decisions. But for those like myself who are like, I want to learn from you, John, but I still want to track my numbers. That's where I think you and I come together with a new type of solution where you're saying, Keith, eat this, but I'm going, okay, but how much should I eat? Because I'm the kind of guy who wants to know still how much I should eat. Am I making sense, John, to you?
100%. And here's the thing. See, my clients, they're successful, they're busy.
Yes.
They don't have the time to count.
Yes.
And so my whole system is based upon teaching someone how to basically enrich their life with energy, focus, better sleep, drop in body fat, build a muscle, the whole kit and caboodle. And you don't have to count. Now, granted, if someone wants to count, there's nothing wrong with counting. But, again, if you can learn a system where you don't have to count, it turns into a series of subconscious behavior patterns that kind of happen all by themselves. Like the joke I make to my clients, said, look, when this is over, it's going to be very similar to this. When you got to take a piss, you just find yourself walking towards the toilet.
Yeah.
And that's what really sustainability has got to do with this. It's got to do with just understanding what your body's telling you, subconscious reactions, and not having to count calories and not having to count macros. Now, if somebody wants to do that, there's nothing wrong with it. But generally speaking, counting is not a system that people are going to do for 4 decades.
Yes. Yeah. Well said, Marty.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm not big on counting either. I think it frustrates people. But I think what's more important is changing the habits. This person understands, hey, I need to consume protein after the workout. I need to eat some vegetables. I need to eat some healthy fats. Don't starve yourself with carbs, right? Yes. Don't get rid of carbs altogether. Understand why they're important. Understand they can help you, help your intensity in the gym. But behavior changes is most important, because think about the behavior they currently have. They at the bar every weekend.
Yes.
Big backing and eat whatever they want.
Yes.
So that's the issue. It's not because you don't count your calories. That's why you got this body you don't like. So.
You know what it's done for me, though, and we're gonna wrap this segment and move to a brand new segment, the Personal Brand Bite, with our friend Kristina Flynn coming up here in a minute. You know what it's done for me, though, boys? Johnny and Marty, I think you can appreciate this, because I'm sure you've had clients come to you with this conversation, or you've stepped back and go, oh yeah, good, it's worked for him. The counting macros has taught me the value of the density of food. For example, I know if I eat a chicken breast, it's given me 28 to 35 grams of protein. Boom. It's taught me that. I know that if I have a little handful of oats, it's going to give me about 30 grams of carbs. So I've taken time in my life to learn those things, so that now when I sit down and have a couple of chicken breasts on my plate, I don't count them, because I know that they're about 60 grams of protein. So that's all that it's done for me, right? Is that it's created that awareness, so that because guys, I'll be honest, Johnny, I didn't like, in my earlier trainers, they're just saying, Keith, eat this. I'm like, well, fuck, how do you know what I want to eat? Or how do you know, right? It didn't work for me, because in my head, I needed to know the number, right? So, and it's Johnny, it's the same. I'm getting to the same end destiny as you saying, Keith, eat 5 chicken breasts a day. But I'm like, yeah, but what's my number? Well, Keith, eat 200 grams of protein. Oh, okay. 6 chicken breasts at 30 grams gets me to 180. You know what I mean, John? So I've needed to know my numbers for my own thought process, but now I don't track them because I know. Does that make sense, John?
Yeah. And here's the thing, the guy that just needs to know, I think, like you were saying, you were doing it because you were acquiring the information, which is great.
Yeah.
But, if perfect example, if let's just say that you're supposed to eat, X amount of meals that are X size, and X time, and you get to one of those meals and you realize, you're not hungry.
Yes.
Forcing that meal down is not going to help you.
No.
So again, with my system, I create guidelines for people. So they come into a time that they're supposed to feed. And I say feeding because it doesn't always have to be meals. It can be healthy snack foods. But ultimately, knowing what the body wants and understanding the signals of the body is what's going to keep you from leaving all this progress on the table. Following a straight up macro system based upon time and weight and that kind of thing is treating your body like a machine. It's not a machine. It's a creature. Every day will be different. And if you don't treat it that way, you are leaving massive progress on the table.
Yeah. What an exceptional conversation with Keith, John, and Marty here. Mornings in the Lab, a segment we're calling the Protein Break. It drops at about 8:47 Eastern time every single day. Nutrition, food, topics to help you guys get through your day. And we've got some great comments coming into the feed before we move to the personal brand bite with Kristina Flynn. We got Rick joining us. Can't win the game on the court if you're looking at the scoreboard all game. Rick says, I need to focus on doing the next right thing constantly. Love this. Rick, we love that you're joining. And Rick, I see you joining the show daily. Brother, on behalf of myself, Marty, and John, we appreciate your time you're spending with us because I know you have many choices. And the fact that you're spending with us in the morning makes us very, very happy. Troy Asanon. Troy, I missed you in your Winnipeg a few months ago, brother. I'm sorry. We'll get you back next time you're here. Morning. You're all wishing you a killer game. And Rick saying yes as well. And then do we know the Magdazan vegetarian diet? I do not. Kuding, thanks for joining us here as well. And what do I got here? Morning, I'm 56. Lewis, I'm going on. No, we're not going to go on that there. And then we're going to go, what last one here is we got a horizontal comments coming from the horizontal feed here. We got Kurt, Daniel, and Daniel join us on the horizontal side of things. So, all right, guys, I'm going to bring Kristina up here. This is a new segment. And we are calling it the Personal Brand Bite. There's Kristina. And I do not have music available for her yet. Sorry,
what
Tina.
As long as you're not playing that terrible walk within the snow, we're okay.
Hold on. I may have a button that I could press here for our friend Tina. And Tina, I know you're itching to get back to the conversation about things that humans wish we would all know in the bedroom. So we're going to talk the brand bite, and then we're going to come back and
use itching in the bedroom in the same sentence.
Keith, man. Keith.
Jimmy, help me. All right. The Personal Brand Bite with Kristina Flynn. We get a brand new segment because one of the things I want to tell you guys here in the Business Athlete Performance Lab, if you guys are starting out right now, you're waking up 38, 40, 45, 50 years old, and you're thinking, holy fuck, I'm lost. I got a big gut. I got a big gut on my ass. I got a big gut hanging on my belly. I'm hairy. I'm feeling shitty about myself. I just don't know what my future holds for myself. My digital profile sucks. My personal brand sucks. I don't have a resume. I am lost. Well, you know what? We have somebody here in the lab. Her name's Kristina Flynn. She is a personal branding expert. She'll help you take it from 0 to 10, get you all sorted out, get your life all sorted out, get your digital profile sorted, get your personal brand sorted out. So we're going to lean into this topic for the next minute, and then we're going to build upon this. So come knock on our door. We can help you build your personal brand. We're going to start with Kristina Flynn with a tip for the brand bite with Kristina Flynn. Boys, Johnny, go for a break. We're going to come back and talk sex in the bedroom after we are done with this.
I'll do my own music.
You're up, Flynn.
Okay, so I've got an argument. And my argument is that you don't know who the fuck you are. So here's what you got to do to be able to fix this. We hear this all the time. Be authentic. You got to be authentic online. But if we could just be real for a second, how are you supposed to be authentic if you don't know who the fuck you are? Most people dive into branding and they have no idea what their story is. And that's a key component to building a strong and sustainable personal brand. So here's the truth. You can't build your authentic personal brand. You can't build a strong and sustainable personal brand without first knowing yourself. So where do you start? 3 simple steps that I swear by that are going to help you to discover your story. I call it the 3A story assessment, and I'm in desperate need of finding a better name. So if you got any ideas, let me know. The first step is audit. You want to document the various stages of your life: upbringing, career, education, personality. And then if you're a Spider-Man fan, canon events or key life moments that have changed the trajectory. What are the experiences that have shaped you? This provides the foundation. Once you've done that, you want to go into analyze. Look for patterns. What's easy for you but hard for others? What keeps showing up throughout the entirety of your stories? What are the themes and the patterns and the throughways? These are clues to what makes you unique, and those are clues for your unique story. And then the third is articulate it. Now that you've got a clear understanding, figure out, how do I take this information and put it into something that actually makes sense to people? Share it in a way that resonates to your audience and tell them why they should care, why you're different. Craft your narrative with purpose. So you don't need all the answers right now. Just start with those 3 things: audit, analyze, articulate. I promise you, you all have a story. I promise you that your story is already in there. And if you want to build a strong, sustainable personal brand, you just need to uncover it. It's time to enter your no fucks era. Let's do this.
It's time to enter. It's time to enter the no fucks era. Yep, it's Kristina Flynn. You know who you are. Put that personal brand out there. Hey, it's the Mornings in the Show. Mornings in the Show. Mornings in the Live with Keith, John, Marty, and producer Flynn here. Coming up to the top of the second hour, we are calling, Morning Loop Part 2. I will give you guys a new name for this. This is a segment, and Good Time's coming in with big old respect, things you don't want to do. Yes, and Shelly's joining us from Vegas this morning. Hey. Good morning, Shelly. Good morning, Shelly. Tina, I like this tune for you. This is a good tune. Yeah, to kick off the second hour, to kick off the personal brand bites.
Okay.
I like it. Yeah, so I got
Makes
some music.
People think I'm a lot harder than I am. So cool. Let's do it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly it. Okay, so this segment we are reintroducing a second segment to the show for our second hour. We're calling the Morning Loop Part 2. I'm gonna get a new name for you. You guys are gonna see later this week. And the plan is with this little segment here, just to give you guys some energy to keep going, to get the day started. And a reminder to kick off the show here, kick off the second hour. If you got kids in the room, you want to put the headphones on. We're talking sex, we're talking F-bombs, we're talking just good conversation to move forward. And we started the show today, guys, with things that humans wish that women would do in the bedroom that we just didn't know we just didn't know. And we talked about things like, lack of erections do not equal lack of interest. Mike McCullen. So, hey, we're getting into the sex talk here, brother. You can turn it up here for you. We talked about we like our partners to communicate what they like and don't like. Communication's sexy. Tina, I'm going to look to you, friend. Let's talk about the power of communication in the bedroom with our partners, and why, friend, why is it so difficult for us to communicate with the one that we love so much, yet we have such troubles telling them what we want and like in the bedroom? Kristina Flynn.
Well, I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak to myself. And I was raised Catholic. I am also a lesbian. So there's a lot of shame around who I am, what I'm about. We did not grow up talking about sex. We did not grow up being educated on sex. My wife, also similarly raised Catholic, was pulled out of anything to do with family life that might even consider the conversation of sex. So when it comes to communication, the difficulty around this, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we were socialized not to talk about these things. We were socialized that if we found pleasure in sex, it was a dirty thing. And so that's where I think a lot of that comes down to. It's getting now over that to be able to have some of these really healthy conversations.
Yes. Johnny, I see you nodding there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, obviously how it's our association, with sex has got a lot to do with how we treat it as we get older as an adult. I was raised in a very liberal environment, so it was presented as natural. I mean, even jerking off and masturbation was presented as natural, so it was I was lucky that I didn't carry a lot of I guess you'd say negative associations about sex into my adult life.
Interesting. Team, there's a huge difference. Johnny, you talk about jerking off. There's a huge difference between orgasm as a physical release, i.e. a one-night stand, masturbating, and an orgasm with somebody you are emotionally close to. You know, I can jerk off a bunch of times in between having sex, but I need to have sex with my partner in order to be emotionally and mentally fulfilled. Chris, when you hear me say that, let's talk about as a man, and then Katina, I'm going to look to you as a lesbian. Let's talk about the difference between just getting off compared to I really need to have that emotional connection with my partner so that I can be very fulfilled through my day. There's a difference, man. There's a big difference. Marty, you first, brother.
Oh yeah, no. There's definitely a big difference. But I think sometimes you need both. This is going to sound crazy, but I don't, I don't care.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to just get off with no emotions. That's
how
part of life.
Yes.
But one is definitely better than the other, and one's more healthier than the other. If you're just getting off too much with no emotional connection, that can lead down to a dark path. That can lead you to do some, being around the wrong people, having a porn addiction, something crazy like that. So the emotional is definitely better and the way to go.
Yes. And I think the key point that I want to make, and Tina, I'm going to pull you up here in a quick second. The key point here is that the reality is that, yes, and I'm speaking for the men, Tina. Yeah, sometimes we just want to jerk off and get it off. But there are many times where that emotional connection, that Johnny, looking at you, brother, that connection with our partner, that intimacy is so desired. And I find that even as I get older, it's like I really want to feel that intimacy, beyond just having the orgasm. Tina, Johnny, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I think what is missed with many people is that sex is kind of one of these things to where it happens in many cases, when people are going to bed, and it's kind of like this last ditch thing as the day goes on, as to where, my wife and I, we have a totally different approach. We will actually plan, every day at 5 o'clock, 5:30, that's Terry time. That's when, I start kicking ass at 3 a.m. So by 5:30, I'm ready to, I've done my work. Now it's time that we have with her. And basically we will choose, okay, look, this is what we're going to do today. And it's a sexual experience. And we'll basically say, and it's planned. It's like, okay, here's a chunk of time, and we're going to take this necessary part of our life and we're going to put it there. And we've got the time to do it. There's no distractions, and something doesn't get in the way. And when you start to treat that element of your life, I think what happens then is you really have the time and the intention to have like a more of a well-rounded sex life. You're going to have those experiences where you are really intimate, and when you have the right time, the enough time, in many cases, it'll start off that way and it'll end up, it start off that intimate thing, but then next thing you know, it's like you're in a rodeo, and having both in the same session, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the key is to make sure that you be intentional about this part of your relationship. Make sure that it's not just squeezed in, into a place that very possibly is not going to have the time needed to fulfill this part of the relationship.
I like the fact that you use intention, because that's the key word, right? Whether it's scheduled, whether it's intentional, but it's making absolute time for that, because it's so easy not to, especially as our relationships go on with our partners. Kristina Flynn.
I couldn't agree more. There's something in the queer community called lesbian deathbed. And it's this ongoing joke that over time, as people are together for a longer period of time, two women, they just stop having sex. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you lose an intentionality, like John said. Things get busy. It's obviously quite different than just get it in, be done with it. It's a lot more of a commitment sometimes. And you move on and you forget about it. You're non-intentional about it. And so you have to plan into your day, despite the fact that I think a lot of people think that takes like the intimacy or the romance out of it. I would actually argue, to John's point, that actually brings it back in, because you're making it a priority and you're allowing yourselves to connect.
Well, and I like,
make 1.2. Make 1.2. Sometimes women just want to do it and be done with it as well. This isn't one of those things like I dated men for a very long time. Sometimes I was just like, can we just like not do the whole thing? Could you just like go and do your thing and then we'll be done with it? It's fine. It doesn't have to be this long withdrawn thing.
Marty?
Hey, we're busy, so that's necessary. That's why I say you need both. You need both.
Talk through it. It's fine.
Listen, I get up. Me and Johnny get up at 3 a.m. So sometimes it ain't all that extra. That ain't happening today.
That's right.
I'm going.
Yeah,
to bed.
by 8:30, the action is out of question. You know, if it's that's not going to happen. But to what you're saying, Kristina, I think that it's relationships as a whole. People stop having sex because they're not being intentional. So obviously you're speaking directly of your world, but I think that applies across all types of relationships. People, they get busy, they get distracted. And if you think about it, if you don't stay intentional about all areas of your life, they start to kind of slip away.
Yes. Now I'll close up today's conversation with things that we want our partners to know in the bedroom that we just don't think that they know. The last one for us boys, sorry, Tina. Last thing for us boys is blue balls is not a serious condition. So don't let anyone pressure you into sex, especially with that as an excuse. So let that hang out there for today.
Hold on. Real quick. Do women fall for that? I got blue balls. Help me. Did women fall for that dumb shit?
I'll say yes. I'm older.
Oh my Lord.
But a lot of women grew up, myself included, in like you talk about a lot of this stuff has to do with we grew up with like sex being a thing of pressure, not being allowed to say no because your partner would freak out on you. It wasn't necessarily like a safe environment to say no, which is why I know in my case, like I would make up a lot of excuses. I'd be like, oh, fuck that. Like, because we would get in trouble. Like there would be something on the other end of it. And yeah, blue balls was something that people would use. As I grew up and was more educated around sex, I was like, fuck you. Also, I started having sex with women, so it was easier. But at the same time, I was like, that's how I grew up. It wasn't necessarily a safe place to say no.
No more. Hey, the moment that Kristina discovered women, it was like, no more blue ball excuses. It was like, done with it.
True, I didn't go back.
No more blue ball.
I didn't go back, I'll be honest.
And we got Rick joining in. Rick, I appreciate you, brother. Clearly you're tuning in and you're having some fun with us this morning. He says, Marty, you'll love this. Rick says, Coach Lombardi said, fatigue makes cowards of us all. And that's true with intimacy and intentionality. So Rick, I appreciate you, brother. You joining us here mornings in the lobby. Hey, just a reminder, if you're tuning into our show for the first time, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button, subscribe to it, comment on it, share it with your friends. Tell everybody that you discovered this morning show. We talk about things to help you guys get it a day and hit your big audacious goals. We lean into accountability. We lean into business. We lean into entrepreneurship. We lean into fitness, health, nutrition, all the great things to help you be the best human you can be. And at this point, I'm running a few minutes behind Jimmy. We are going to get to, and good time, we appreciate you as well. We're going to get to In the Gym with Jon and Marty. And guys, I got to tell you, we have launched this segment as a podcast on YouTube. So if you don't catch the show live, you can go back and download all the episodes of In the Gym with Jon and Marty. You are not going to get this level of expertise and advice anywhere on the planet. You have a world-class bodybuilder, strength dude, world-class athlete, Marty. You got two great guys who are going to give you what you need today in the Gym with Jon and Marty. And I'll be back at the bottom of the hour to wrap up the show with our community corner, creator spotlight, and then we're going to get on with our day. So Jon, Marty, you guys are up, talk about the gym, and Kristina and I are going to go and refresh our coffees and be back in about 11 minutes. Jimmy, I'm sorry I'm running behind, producer. Let's get out of here, boys.
All right, Mark. What do you think, brother?
Today, man?
I was going to say, there's a few topics that are constantly swirling around, and I think what we should do is break down at least one of them, or maybe more, but what I'm hearing so many people say is that like they have difficulty in the gym because there are too many choices. And when it comes down to it, people get in there and they want to do this, they want to do that, and they don't know what to do. So I think we need to kind of shed a little light on, if this is you, if you feel like you have a hard time digging in because you don't know what to do, we're going to put some actionable tips on the table for you. And I think that's a great place, because realistically, guys, we want to be talking about something that actually affects you and something that you can take and put into play and have it help you in the gym. So I think the first thing that, I like to keep things simple, of course. I think the first thing what we got to do is we got to get them to understand this concept. This is something I tell my clients all the time. Follow the spirit of what you're supposed to be doing. So let's just say that, you're doing a chest workout. Well, maybe you got a whole bunch of choices. You don't know what to do with chest. Well, that's where the follow the spirit principle makes this much easier. Just find a chest exercise. That's following the spirit. You're doing a chest. You could even, let's say you're like, there's too many choices, but now all of a sudden they're all the choices are gone because you sat there and waited so long that everybody took the machines and the equipment. Well, get your butt on the ground and do some push-ups, because guess what? Push-ups, that's in the spirit of a chest workout. So Mark, why don't you talk about this, brother?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think too much.
Yes.
Simple always wins.
Mm-hmm.
Your workout routine, you can have the most basic, simple workout routine and get results. Mm-hmm. And, we talked about social media earlier, and this is where it messes people up because people think they got to do all this fancy stuff. Oh, my gym doesn't have this machine. Okay, your gym doesn't have this machine. You can still work that muscle.
Yes.
So, keep things simple. You don't have to do all the crazy stuff you see on social media. And like a lot of my clients, we repeat the workouts, right? We work in phases, but we're adding more weight. Maybe we'll push the sled further, add more weight to that. But there are ways you can progressively overload, but your workouts do not have to be some spectacular, awesome thing. Like it is what it is. The more than likely the person that you want to look like, they do simple shit.
Mm-hmm. And then, in so many cases, when people get kind of confused because they don't know what to do, they find themselves procrastinating. And then the procrastination eats up a lot more time than people think. So a workout that might only need to take you 30 minutes could take you an hour. And when you fall victim to the idea that you don't know what to do and you play into it and you let it slow you down, it let you confuse you, and you let it, I guess you just let it affect you in a way that you shouldn't. What's going to happen is it's going to keep you from having an experience that makes you want to come back tomorrow. And if you boil the whole thing down, what you need to do is get in the gym and you need to put some effort forth. And when it's all over with whatever time you had, maybe you were late, maybe you only got 20 minutes for the day, maybe you got an hour, it doesn't really matter. The question is that you get in there, put in some work, feel good so you can't wait to do it again tomorrow. So boiling it down and simplifying it is really, just like Marty said, is the way to go. And if you look at people that have made a ton of progress, they do a lot of simple shit too. So another saying that I love to say to my clients is don't get lost in the details. The details in certain cases, they matter. In other cases, they don't. If you're being trained to be a world champion lifter, okay, those details might matter. But if you're just wanting to basically be fit and healthy and lose some body fat, don't get lost in the details of the exercises. Follow the spirit of what you're supposed to be doing. Take a hold of that.
I'm with you 1,000%. And I'll give them something tangible. For myself, let's say that, maybe I don't have an hour and a half to do the full leg day that I wanted to do, right? So instead of the barbell, I'll hit one of the V squat machine, and I'll hit leg press because I can move around quicker. The barbell, I need some time for that. I need some recovery time for that, but I might not have that type of time, so just to give you something practical. And then, if I have another one of those days, I think you kind of hit on this earlier, and someone's on a machine I just do something different,
Yes.
Because if maybe I want to do the hack squat, someone's on it, but I can hit the leg press. I can do goblet squats. I can do sumo squats. There are just variations you can do. And like I said, don't think too much about it. What matters is you're getting in there consistently. You're getting the work in. That's what's going to lead to the results.
Yes. yes. And on that level too, you're like Marty said, you're getting there. You're being consistent. If you just basically focus on the effort that you put forth, rather than the details of what you're doing, you're going to end up Perfect example. People go in and they get all bent out of shape because they couldn't achieve a certain weight on a certain exercise. What does that do? It puts them in a bad mental space. They're walking around like a sourpuss, having a hard time getting through the rest of the workout. When if you went in there and you said, okay, I'm going to focus on how hard I work, because when you work, you have full control over that. Some days you can work really hard and the numbers, the weights don't reflect how hard you're working. Well, it's not about that. It's about showing up. It's about putting in the effort. It's about feeling good, and make sure that, again, you're going to hear me say this over and over. When you want to go back tomorrow, when you want to train again tomorrow, this drill gets a whole lot easier. So we are here to help you simplify, boil it down in a way that is going to allow you to get this done no matter what the challenges are. Obviously, in this case, we're really addressing those of you who get overwhelmed. And so by following the spirit of what you're supposed to be doing and making sure that you focus on the efforts, these two elements should really take that problem. Because I actually was looking at the top 5 issues that people in general have with the gym, and this was in the top 5. So
really,
yeah, it was. I was pretty blown away, and I think it comes down to the fact that, people go in the gym without a plan and they end up, what am I going to do? I mean, if you don't know what you're going to do, you're going to get overwhelmed with choices. And again, they're really not attacking this with the idea that my job is to get in here, get some work in, get out and feel good. So I want to do it again tomorrow. So again, simplify this stuff, guys. You can be simple. It can be easy. Go ahead, Marty.
I was going to say, and you kind of got to develop your philosophy for the gym. So, if I'm going to hit like my push day, I got 3 staples. I'm doing bench press, whether that's, the dumbbell or the barbell. I'm going to do incline, and I'm going to do shoulder press, right? And then I could just, that makes it easier for me to work in between. I might hit some triceps, I might isolate with some chest flies, I could worry about all that other shit, but develop your philosophy, develop your structure. Leg day is, I'm going to squat, I'm going to do a single leg exercise, and I'm going to hit some form of an RDL. Might be single leg, might be barbell, might be dumbbell. But develop your philosophy. That'll make it easier.
Yes. Let me jump in real quick, brother. So what Marty was saying about his chest, right, is he said a bench press, which is basically flat, an incline, which is at an angle, and a shoulder press, which is when he's sitting upright. So all he's doing is he's taking 3 different angles and getting the work in. He didn't say what exact exercise he was doing. He's saying there's a whole lot of different exercises I can use. What he's looking at is flat, incline, vertical. That's all. And how he sticks those exercises in there on a daily basis might have to do with how much time he has, might have to do with what's available. The list goes on. So what he's talking about, understand your philosophy. It's see how simple he made that. And he can get in there and there's so many different directions he can go based upon the challenges, and he gets the job done. And it's all about the simplicity of the vision of what you're supposed to do when you get in there.
Absolutely. And that's, that's been working for me for, I don't know how many years, just that simple. But you'd be surprised at how many of the people you want to emulate, they do the same thing. I'm sure Jon Andersen does the same thing for, I'm sure whenever you have arm day, you got your staples, you got your things you look forward to.
Mm-hmm. And let's just say that you're in a position where, I'm supposed to do a chest exercise, and the only thing that's available is this one. And God, I'm not really feeling it. Okay. Do a set of push-ups before you jump on that machine. So you're doing something that is going to put some work in, then jump on the machine. So you're pre-exhausted. In many cases, a certain machine may not feel the way you want it to, but you're still working. So, there's so many ways to skin this cat. And just remember, keeping it simple, but most importantly, don't get overwhelmed. Make sure you focus on putting in the work so you want to do it again tomorrow.
That's it. It's that simple.
All right. So I got something I'm going to got going here to wrap it up. Nope, not that one. Not that one. I got it. No, not that one. Not that one either. But I got something that I want to make for you guys. It is no, not that one either. Hold on.
Got that castrated goat in there, man.
Nope. There we go.
Okay. Took a little while.
It took a little while. Yes. I love my bagpipes. I'm bringing Tina up on the stage here. Oh, there she is. Yes. So you know what? I'm just going to tell you guys. And I'm just going to, so if you got kids listening right now, I'm just going to say it. I fucking love this.
Tina's hilarious, bro.
If you had a kilt on, I'd lose my mind.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes, yes. It's 9:30 Eastern time. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, Kristina Flynn, and I'm that Keith guy. I'm the guy getting up and dancing to the bagpipes. This is the new song.
How do you dance to that?
To get us all. Hey, Marty, you're coming. Here's what we are going to do, Nation. I am inviting Jon Andersen and Kristina Martin to Canada. Kristina, I am taking them to Manitoba, northern Manitoba, to a curling rink, to play the bagpipes, to watch Marty walk on down the ice, to watch Johnny walk on down the ice, and Kristina, have them throw rocks. That will be
so fun.
That would be incredible content for mornings. You have
Watching
no
me
idea.
and Johnny curl would probably be pretty funny.
It would be.
I ain't never. I don't even think I have.
When you say throw rocks, what are we talking about? I missed what the throw rocks part was.
Johnny, do you know?
Oh, curling. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna get John and Marty to do some curling here in the future here in the winter months here in Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, Marty, and producer Flynn. All right, so Johnny, I think you need to step out for a restroom break, and as you're doing that, we're gonna get the community corner started. We're gonna do the creator spotlight and work towards wrapping up the show. So Johnny, you go step on and do that, and when you come back, we're gonna say goodbye. All right, pal, you go leave there, and we're gonna keep the chat going here. I just got to do this one more time.
This guy here, man.
Here we go.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. That looks crazy.
That's going to become a meme.
That's definitely a meme. I don't know what that was.
Hey, tomorrow in the Lab.
You don't play bagpipes up here either.
Tomorrow in the Lab, mastering the skin flute with Keith Bilous.
Oh my God.
Bro.
What?
Hey, can we call my kids right now and invite them into the show? Do you think they'd enjoy their dad's performance right now?
Your kids would be so embarrassed right now.
Hey, they told me that I could just be me.
True.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Your authentic self.
Yeah.
You're a big dancing bear. It's so unusual, your moves.
Hey, I'm dad dancing in my chair, Tina. Come on, give me some credit, brother. Okay, Jimmy, producer Jimmy. Jimmy's going to give me shit if I don't get to this here quickly here. So, okay, right now is the segment of the show where I get all caught up in my cord. I'm totally all caught up in the cord. Oh, my God. Hold on a second here. Yeah.
Too much dancing. It's under your kilt.
That's what it was. Oh, I want to get a kilt, man. I fucking love them. I would love to get a kilt. Dude,
I would love it if you had stood up there and you had a kilt on. I would have lost my mind.
We're going to get me a kilt, man. We are getting, yes, good time. Be you, brother. I love you. Good time. I am me. I'm all me. A 100% authentic me. Just like our creator for today's creator spotlight is 100% them. Pretty good with the segue, Tina.
Did you know about the kilt? You got to look at your family heritage to see which colors you're going to wear. Did you know that?
Oh, Johnny, do tell. What do you know about the kilt, Johnny?
Well, you got to basically follow your heritage back. It goes to a clan. You belong to a clan. Each color is a different clan.
Oh.
Have you ever worn a kilt, Johnny? I would love that.
I have not, but I would have zero problem doing it. There's competitions. There was competitions in the strength world where during different events you would wear a kilt. I was just never at one of them.
I love it. I'm a big fan of the kilt. I think we're going to have to all wear kilts. Me, John, Marty will do some curling. Kristina, get the video camera out, and we're going to do kilts and curling. Kilts and curlings on morning.
You know, they say the people who are really wearing the kilts, they don't wear any drawers underneath there.
I'd be right there. I'd be right there with you, Johnny. Yeah. At this
I'm wearing drawers under mine.
We're not curling if y'all are wearing nothing under a coat.
Right, exactly.
Okay, let's wrap up the show. Let's get to the community corner of the creator spotlight, where we like to shine the light, the big old hairy mornings in the lab light, and shine it on some great human beings out there in the community. And today we are going to shine the light on somebody, and I'm hoping I'm going to say their name correctly, Kristina.
Just like Content Cuba.
Okay, so there we go. Today's creator spotlight for Mornings in the Lab on this Monday, September 23rd, is somebody who is a B2B content marketing expert helping service-based founders attract customers through unique value-driven content strategies. He's the founder of Story Angled. Kuba runs a content marketing agency creating custom programs for B2B service-based founders, focusing on inbound lead generation and conversion. A unique approach. Known for his simple yet effective explanations of complex content marketing concepts, just like Johnny explaining macros and so forth, Kuba takes those concepts through ugly drawings, making strategies easy to understand and implement. He's got a proven content system offering clients access to over 25, not 20, not 21, but over 25 content systems and frameworks designed to boost visibility, thought leadership, and engagement. Full stack content team, providing complete content production team to execute content strategies, allowing founders to focus on growing their businesses. Tina, looking at you to read out the highlights. But today, Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight for Monday, September 23rd. It is Marty with the drum roll, please. Kuba! Kuba Chabowski. I'm going to try this. Kuba Subajowski. And you know, Kuba, we do this every single day, and I do the best that I can saying people's names. And what I like to do is just try. And I hope you can appreciate our attempt at trying it. But Kuba, we are celebrating you for today's Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight. We want to get you in here to tell your story. But Kristina Flynn, lay some highlights as to why we are shining the big old lights onto Kuba here this morning.
I love Kuba. He goes by Content Kuba. He is based in Europe, and what I really love about what he does is he is his authentic self. He has used this concept of being the king of ugly drawings. When everyone is out there trying to make perfect marketing materials, he goes on this idea of just like, I'm going to sketch. It's going to be fucking ugly, but I'm going to get my idea across and help you do the same. And he's just owning who he is. He's incredibly successful with all of his clients with his store, with this company called Story Angled. And I think we talk about this all the time. He's a real person offering real insights and real expertise that are going to help people who want to build on LinkedIn know how to do it, and know how to do it in a way that's not just like guru focused, but it's based on his own experience of what works. So he will teach you how to do it, or him and his team do it for you. I just love the approach that he takes and how he's truly authentically himself all the time.
Awesome. Kuba, we are celebrating you. Mornings in the Lab, Creator Spotlight. Congratulations, my friend. We love shining light on great humans like you who are doing great work, and keep sketching the craziness so we can keep shining light. Hey, Kuba, come hang out with us in the lab. Come and nominate somebody you want to celebrate, and come spend some time with myself, John, Marty, and producer Flynn. Okay, nation. Wow, we're getting towards the last couple of moments of the show, and I'm going to go around the table. What did we take from the show today? I'm going to start with you, Flinner. What's one thing you took from today's show, Kristina Flynn?
Oh God, my head is immediately drawn to talking about blue balls, and I don't know why. Maybe that's just something I haven't thought of in a very long time. So, blue balls are not real.
Blue balls is Kristina Flynn, the one thing that left her, and we put Marty out to sleep. Johnny, what's one thing you took from today's show, brother?
You know, I think as we talked about the whole sexual experience and what, you know, people or men want their women to do, I think what it comes down to, I think if you are really, really focused on unapologetically being yourself, you're going to be able to have that conversation, and it's not going to be so difficult. So, you know, when it comes down to it, see these conversations that feel a little awkward, you know, just realize that, hey, you know, you're just being you, and that's okay. You want to know how to please her. There's nothing wrong with that. And just take a deep breath, realize that you are you and take that step forward and have the conversation.
Yeah, well said. Marty, what are you, pal? One thing you took out of today's show, brother?
Communication is key.
Oh, yes. Well said. And you know what? To that, I'm going to send my lovely wife. She's driving the kids to school this morning. Hey, Lauren, I'm sending you a text, baby. Going to get you on the calendar for later today. Boom.
There we go. Intentional.
Exactly. Intentional love. All right. So there we go, guys. That's what I took from the show today. Communication. Remind yourself, remind your partner you love them. Be intentional, make time, because time is not going to happen by accident, right? And next thing you know, as Johnny said, if you're not being intentional, it's never going to happen. So there we go. Today's Mornings in the Lab, myself, John, CMartyFit, Kristina Flynn. We talked about blue balls. We talked about sex in the bedroom. We talked about gym culture going sideways. But most importantly, we gave you guys content to help you guys start your day and get your ass into bed like we do every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, called Mornings in the Lab. We're going to get out of here. Back tomorrow. We got Adam House joining us tomorrow. Kristina, what are we talking about with Adam tomorrow?
Oh, goodness. Who knows? We're going to get Adam on. And it's always an interesting conversation with Adam, so we're excited to have him.
That's right. I think we're going to talk about
get some headphones.
That's right. We're going to talk some adaptability with Adam House, the CEO of House of Bricks, joining us tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern time, Mornings in the Lab. All right. I got to get after, boys. It's International Bench Press Day for this guy. I got a chest day. I got my running this morning, and then we got a bunch of good things going on throughout the day. Johnny.
All right, big dog. I see you.
Tina, you guys have a good one, okay? We'll talk to you guys a little later.
Right on.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. See you, nation.